Excuse the interruption, but I'm Kristen Murchie. Christian, only 2 weeks until Halloween. Are you ready for some trick-or-treating?
I'm Christian Kovang. What a childish notion. I outgrew trick-or-treating years ago. Besides, I've still got a ton of candy Easter eggs from last year's spring hunt in the park.
So, maybe you're not quite as mature as you think you are.
Easter is completely different from Halloween. At Easter you get a good ham or turkey dinner and candy besides. At Halloween, you can end up with popcorn balls and orange marshmallow peanuts, and that's why Easter rules.
Hello boys and girls. Today we add toss-up and cop time to our show, but we start off, as always, with headlines. Christian, tell us about the experience of taking on the mighty Cavalier Tornadoes.
The football game against Cavalier was unlike any game that I have ever played before. Going into that game, we knew that they were going to be good, but we didn't know that they would be that good. Every time they would hand the ball off to that number 34 guy, he would seem to run us over with a smile on his face. I hate that guy. Oh, he signed at NDSU. Just saying.
Yeah, it was a rough game on the scoreboard side of things, but you guys played the best game against them all year. Not even an 11-man team put up as many points as you guys did. You may not have won the game, but it was definitely a moral victory for the team.
Kristen, what was it like playing in the Deluxe Volleyball tournament?
It was a great experience and lots of fun. We played a lot of the top teams in the state, so it was good to see how we measured up to the best competition. It felt like it was a little mini state tournament.
Well, you guys obviously measured up quite well since you won the whole tournament. I thought the volleyball team would be one of the top teams in the state, but you can never know for sure, and I think winning this tournament definitely proves to everyone that we are.
Christian, how's the cross-country team looking this year?
Going into the year, they had more participants than they've had in any other season. The numbers have dwindled down a little bit, but Mary and Cole have run very strong in several of the meets this year. Now we will take a short break. Welcome back to the precinct, kids. I'm Officer Kovang along with Officer Murchie. We're going to play a little good cop, bad cop. Here's the first case. Kristen, how do you like the idea of having a super region this year instead of districts and regionals?
I think there should be a district tournament, so I'll be the bad cop. I actually prefer to play in a district tournament along with regionals. With districts, there's more playing time and more preparation for the regional tournament.
I'll be the good cop then and say that the super region is a good thing. It is one less volleyball tournament that I have to go to. I would rather just drive to Devil's Lake for regionals than have to travel someplace else for districts too.
Christian, would it be better for the fans if the football team played the last few games of the season on Saturday afternoons instead of Friday nights?
I'm going to be the good cop on this one, and in my personal opinion, I would much rather have the football games on Friday nights. There's nothing better than getting ready for a big game in front of a huge crowd. Plus, I like being able to have my Saturdays off. I call it Christian time.
Since I'm speaking on behalf of the fans, I would prefer to have football games on Saturday afternoon. The weather would be much more enjoyable for everyone, and after a busy Friday, I'm ready to just go home and go to bed, not stand in the cold and watch a football game.
Kristen, how did you feel about the WEBCAST coverage at the Deluxe Volleyball tournament?
I'll be the bad cop, and you can be the good cop. It was very disappointing to many North Star fans that none of the Bearcats games were broadcasted over the weekend. People who were unable to make it to the games had no way of watching them.
I guess I'll be the good cop on this one, and I'll say people shouldn't complain about the WEBCAST. I will give those people the benefit of the doubt because it was a big tournament and there were many games, as well as different locations going on at the same time. So to broadcast them all would have been very difficult. If they really wanted to see all these games, they would have made the trip out there to cheer them on in person like all the true Bearcat fans did, including Wanda Olson and myself. Go Cats! And now it's time for a short break, and coming back we'll have toss-up. Welcome back. Now it's toss-up time with Sarah Hagler. Sarah, what's the first question?
Thanks, Christian. First toss-up. Who will win the 9-man championship? Cavalier or the field?
If this question is asking me if any other team can beat Cavalier, I'm going to say no. Cavalier seems way too dominant to lose, and I don't see anyone coming in their way.
I think that Cavalier is going to overlook a lot of teams when it comes to the playoffs, so I think they will be upset by a team such as Shiloh or St. John.
Toss-up number 2. In football playoffs, should we stick with playing Region 1 or should we alternate and play Region 4?
I'm the kind of person that doesn't really like change, so I'm going to have to say no, because it would be a lot easier to just keep things the way they are. Plus, some of these teams have created rivalries between the regions.
I think that the region matchups definitely need to be mixed up a little bit. Not only do some of the matchups stay the same year after year, but for the fans' sake, it can get a little old driving to the same place year after year for a playoff game. Next question.
Last toss-up. Which would you least rather be hit by? DEVIN DUGDALE running full speed at you or a Sarah HAGLER spike?
Speaking from a boy's point of view, she's just a girl. There's no way that she could possibly hurt someone just by spiking a volleyball. Now Devin, on the other hand, he would probably hurt himself before he would make contact. I would be much more afraid of Mr. HAGLER yelling at me.
I've had some experience with Sarah's spikes hitting me in the face, but it's okay, I survived. Don't get me wrong, it does hurt to get hit by a volleyball, but it would be even scarier to have a 225-pound man running at you at full speed.
And now it's time for the big finish.
Christian, what were you thinking when you got that taunting penalty against Benson County?
That definitely wasn't something that I'm proud of, but hey, it can't get any worse than what I did in rugby 2 years ago. Kristen, what kind of bug was going around giving everyone these injuries?
I don't know, but it seems to be hitting the football team pretty hard. I heard they only had 11 people at practice 1 week. Christian, are you worried the musical practices are going to cut into the sports practices?
You know, this is something that I don't really worry about because, quite honestly, my head's in the game, but my heart's in the song. I'm breaking free from Curdy's rules. Every day, I'm going to bop to the top. That's it for this episode. We'll try and do better next time. Good night, knuckleheads.
Good night, Can Do.